Hi folks, it's Danny at Bradley James Classics, and we are clearing out an Escort van Mk6. It's a 1.8 non-turbo diesel, so very frugal, they're very reliable, and you don't have to worry about advanced electrics in a van like this. Now, we have had this sat in our storage barn for about 2 years. It was actually our own parts van before we sold it to a friend of the business who used it as a, well, I think he used to go fishing and he stuck all the bits in here rather than put it in his own modern SUV, and it was very useful for that. It's covered 145,000 miles, and when we had it, we used to maintain it very well. In fact, I've got dates of work that we did. For example, 136,000 miles, I had a new cam belt, oil change, etc. Various oil change, brakes, lots of bits and pieces. New starter motor was fitted in 2020. It's just had a new alternator fitted now with a new auxiliary belt. It's got a high quality Bosch battery which starts first time every time. Now it will require an MOT and no doubt some fettle to achieve that MOT, but if you look back on the MOT history, this van has never suffered with the usual corrosion to the chassis which these can suffer with terribly, especially on the back end. This has always been a very solid van underneath. It's always driven extremely well, and it was a very reliable old workhorse for us. Now, it is ideal for someone who probably can't stretch to how much one of these vans with a year's ticket and in good condition does cost these days. So this is ideal for someone who's probably a little bit handy, who's happy to check it all over, go get it MOT'd. So it is a project van for that reason, but it does represent very good value, because despite it being no oil painting, I will get up close and show you what it's like. That center cap is actually with the alloy wheels, got a set of forward alloy wheels on. This front wing is respectable, as is this door, as is this rear panel. I get in close and it's got one of those, of course, but it's not all beaten to death. Let's have a look in the back. I'll open up these rear doors. Easier said than done with one hand, but I can do it. Yeah, it's respectable in the back. It's all lined as these last Escort vans were. There's a spare wheel. You've got a bulkhead divider there, so that's all quite respectable. Shut those up. Down this side, I think the rear arch has been tarted up a little bit, but there's a bit of surface rust here and there, but by no means awful. Side of the van's okay. Now this looks like a different fulled white to the rest of it, so I think it had a new wing on it, and at some point it's been painted the wrong colour of white, but that ought not worry you. That looks like a full, perhaps an Arctic white, and the rest of it looks a creamy white, but that's not the end of the world. At least it's a nice new wing. It's got a good front bumper, despite, as I say, not being a perfect condition van. It's pretty respectable from the outside, and by the way, it's got the 55 payload. It's pretty nice inside in that it's got quite good seats, if I remember. They're a bit posher than normal, so because it's quite nice seats, I think these seat covers were put on there. So that looks like seats out of a car, and it looks like possibly a gear or something, because you can see it's got those nice herringbone pattern. Door cards, windy windows, quite clean and tidy. It's got its full radio. I don't think the code is in here, so it looks like someone's fitted a radiator fan to it as well. And yeah, 145,000 miles, and quite respectable in here. And if I look through the back, it's pretty good. I've also got the bonnet ajar, so I can show you that as well. Now, I know I can open these up with one hand, it's not too bad. There you go. So let's have a look under here. That's that 1.8 diesel. Do they call these one the Endure Tech? I can't remember, something like that. Yeah, quite decent underneath here. Let's get close up on the engine. There's a Bosch battery I told you about. Yeah, and it's all quite nice in here. It's not an oily, horrible old engine. It's actually surprisingly clean under the bonnet. Put that down. And one final little look around. It starts, it drives. New alternator and auxiliary belt. Things like the cam belt, regular oil change, all that sort of thing happened in recent years. And for a project Escort van, it's all there. Nearly every vehicle here is probably worth a lot more in parts than they are as a whole, but this would be a crime to do anything other than just really a little bit of fettle before it goes for an MOT, and it always drove particularly well. So I think for the price point, this ought to be a very viable little project for someone. And we are based in Overton in Hampshire. You're very welcome to come and have a look at it, make sure she is for you. We offer sort of part exchange services to try and facilitate deals. On vehicles like this, we recommend using companies like Shipley for a inexpensive delivery service, and I think for a nice late 1.8 Escort van that drives ever so well with a good engine and gearbox, this one will definitely go again. Well, thank you for watching the video, and if you are interested, we are more than happy to sell it to you. That's Danny at Bruddy James signing out.